I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd places going.
Viral. Banks, are you ashamed of anything? Are you ashamed?
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah?
couple things. I'm gonna have to live through this in my life. I mean, when I die, if I have to see my life flash before me, I'm in Tokyo. I'm on a platform. I'm uh, I'm not very couth. I'm on one platform in a train station, and I'm waiting, and I'm with some friends, and they're talking amongst themselves. And across, there's this beautiful Japanese girl, roughly my age, just cute, beautiful, just innocent, just like shy. And I waved. I mean, she kind of, I don't know if I can get her attention, so I waved to her, and she like looks up, and she's like me, and I was like, yeah. And we're away. We're like 20, 30 yards away. And she's like, she feels it. She feels she's being seen. She's like, me, oh, thank you. Yeah. And then she does like a little wave, okay? And then I do this, me trying to be funny. I take my hand and I go like this to her. And she just, she wilted. I mean, she was a flower in a furnace. Oh my God, it was
Oh,
terrible.
flower in a furnace. That's a visual.
Yeah, that hurt. I mean, yeah. And yeah.
Does this mean something? Is that like an insult in
I would say it
Japanese?
is in Japanese. I would say it is because she just wilted. I mean, just like that was so bad. I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, I'm ashamed of that.
So is shame a good thing then?
Being ashamed
Is this
of
this is a tricky emotion. This is one where it's a very low level emotion in my opinion, but it's also a valuable one.
why?
Because it's admitting to ourselves that we screwed something up, we did something wrong, and we shouldn't do it again. And shame is that reminder that we need to check ourselves. It's the humility maker.
Yeah, yeah,
The hum
yeah. So, I mean, are you ashamed of anything?
Oh, every day, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, and I wrote a quote the other day, and I posted it today. Shame is the painful journey from delusion to reality.
Wow, nice. No, I mean, I see the connection there.
Yeah, it's that slide, right? Your delusion. You think you're doing something awesome or great, or you think and then
Oh,
all of
but
a sudden reality hits, and
uh,
boy, that's a painful
all right.
journey slide that you
So
got.
do do we go through that journey? I
I
mean,
think we
some of
all
us do. I mean, I did. I was extremely humbled.
only when reality hits us. If we stay in delusion, we never have to feel shame. We can pretend everything is great. We can pretend that we won the election. We can pretend that Trump is God. We can pretend all kinds of stuff. But eventually, reality comes to play, and we must make that journey. And that's a painful journey if we have to make it.
I I I think people can stay delusional. I mean, I think I mean, I have done that. I've been delusional for many many years. I mean, even in my
Yeah.
50s, there's some things that I have done or been a part of, and I'm realized I'm so delusional, and I don't know until years later. The point I'm saying is, I think people. I mean, if we're just looking at people on the sideline, like myself, I I mean, reality doesn't really hit me that badly. I mean, and when it does, I do have to wake up to the
Well, that means you're not
reality.
that delusional. If reality isn't hitting you that badly, you're probably not as delusional as you think you are. So there's a good thing, right?
Okay, is it reality or is it the expectation of your life of where you are at this moment?
See, I don't see that as delusion because I don't. if you expect your life to be a certain way and it's not, I don't think you should feel shame for that. See, that's why I say shame is a low level emotion, because I don't think you shouldn't shame yourself for that. You tried your best, you did what you could, you have these expectations and you haven't reached it yet. That's not a problem. I think shame comes in when you're doing something you know is bad. When you know, like deep down, like when you support a person or you're cheering on a person who's hurting other people. When you give safe harbor to bad people, things like that's shameful. You should feel shame. And I'm finding myself shaming people for that. I try not to shame people, but I just feel like, how do you not feel shame?
Because they're still in the delusional stage.
Right.
Yeah, they'll believe it until they're dead. You know, the story I heard about North Dakota, I think a nurse was doing a radio story, and she said, you know, people are on their deathbed and their last breath, the last
Yeah.
thing that they're saying is, I just have a cold. It's not COVID. I mean, granted, those people, I mean,
Do dead people feel shame? Probably
yeah,
not. Dead people don't shame. Right.
I don't know. The point I'm saying is
What a
reality
great,
wins.
of course, always. What a great movie title, though. Dead people don't shame. I just think, I wonder what that movie would be about, because that just sounds like a great title. Dead people don't shame. Anyways, we'll work on that. So here's the best example. Hitler. A lot of people ignored Hitler. A lot of people were okay with what he did. Some people supported, but most people were just more ambivalent. They let it happen.
Yeah.
Years later, they did documentaries on this. People had just felt awful. They felt terrible. They were in that shame process because they look back after 20 years and like, that dude was a freaking monster.
Yeah.
How did I not see it? Why was I so complicit? Why? And that shame and it drove some people to commit suicide. It really hit people hard.
So you're saying that the delusional followers, the followers of the president, that
I wasn't going to name names, but okay,
the
fine.
shame moment will come to them at some point. At some point, you know,
Yes.
if I talk to my brother in 20 years, would he apologize, or would he say, you know,
I
I
think he
messed
would.
up?
I
My
think he would.
sister, would she say, I did the wrong thing? You know, but however, that is growth when you can go from saying, I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. You know, I did not do the right thing. However, what?
You called it growth.
Yeah.
Shame isn't growth. Shame is the awareness piece. Growth is not doing it again.
Okay.
That's growth, in my opinion. I
Okay.
think there's two separate things there. Like, if you do it again, you didn't grow. Sorry. If you follow the next demagogue that comes along, and you're doing the next,
Right.
the
Right.
next.
Okay. So it took some of these followers of Hitler 20 years to realize their shame, and
Mhm.
consequences happened to them. I mean, emotionally, stressfully, mentally.
Yeah.
Some of them lost their lives. They committed suicide. Um, and that is the only thing we have it to compare it to. Correct? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
Oh, no, that's not the only thing. No, I wouldn't.
I mean, that's the most recent thing that's happened in our lives. And you're comparing, though, the president to Hitler. I mean, aren't you, or not? Are you just giving that as a situation of shame?
There's a situation,
Okay.
an example of people later on being very ashamed at what they did. Um, I just think the shame that's going to come from supporters of our administration today, it's going to hit them like a Mack truck. I think it's going to be big. And I'm warning people. I'm like, in about 5 to 10 years, you're going to feel it's going to hit you. And I hope it doesn't destroy you. I hope you could survive it. But it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, because these people are good people. These people are not bad people. There's just something they can't see. They can't see the horror. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to warn them. I want to try and warn them.
So okay. So what you're doing is to warn them, and just preparing them. Get ready, because there's a reckoning. There's a reckoning within you that's going to happen. Like
There's a Mack truck coming, and you don't see it's about to run you over.
A personal reckoning in people. That they can believe,
That's what I'm predicting. Yeah.
You know, they can believe they're right, and then at some point they wake up to the reality of what has happened like 5 years previous.
Yeah.
That's fascinating for me. I love personal growth. I love how people change. I mean, when I see a movie and there's like a personal change, personal growth change, that's what fascinates me, because I think that's like the hardest thing for anybody to do in their lives, is to go, I'm this way and I don't want to be this way anymore. I've got to change. You know, I've got to redoctrinate myself.
Yeah. Reminds me of my grandfather. He used to eat like I did. I guess I got my eating habits from him. But when he finished a meal, a big meal, he would say, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. And he would kind of feel a little ashamed, like, because he's, not supposed to eat like 39 chicken wings. And like, I mean, he put businesses out of business. He put restaurants out of business. All you can eat restaurants. This is back in the 60s and 70s. Every time he go back, the price would go up. And then eventually they went out of business. So he would just, because he would eat more. Oh, the price goes up? All right, great. I'm going to eat more then to get my dollar's worth. I just think in another 10 years, people are going to look back and say, I can't believe I was okay with this. I can't believe I supported this. And then they're going to get a big tummy ache.
I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd Places, going
viral.
I think that's the right way.
Yeah.